check out this gem I found. I don't know if you guys had this. When I was in 6th grade, we had to do a toga day. The entire 6th grade class, because we had a lot of units on Greece, ancient Greece, and a lot of units on ancient Rome. To celebrate it, we had toga day. Every single 6th grade person, not just the students, the staff, wore some kind of Roman or Greek garb. So, toga day. I just found the instructions we were given on how to make a toga. Now, the reason I wore purple today was because we made my toga from a purple cloth, a purple bed sheet. Most people used a white bed sheet because most bed sheets are white. And I guess purple in either ancient Greece or ancient Rome or parts of ancient Rome signaled royalty. I have no idea. The entire 6th grade class walked around with togas for the day. Now, I wish I could find some photos. I'm sure someone has photos, especially if any of you. I know some people somehow from my, middle school or high school days have found this channel. If any of you remember this day, I would love to see some photos, man. Besides everyone dressing in togas, I think anyone who's done any kind of grade activity like this remembers was just hazing from the upperclassmen. And why? Because the upperclassmen had to do toga days too, but a few years before. And I just remember that just always bothered me. And it's like, why do you perpetuate, I don't know what you call it, abuse? Why do you perpetuate a negative culture, I guess is a more subjective way of saying it? Can't you just celebrate everyone's wearing togas? So that always bothered me. And I remember when I was in 7th or 8th grade and I saw kids wearing togas, I didn't say anything. One time I gave a kid a compliment and he thought I was making fun of him, so he said something really mean back to me, but I was like, well, whatever. It could have been interpreted as an insult, but I didn't mean it as an insult. What else happened that was really cringe? So for those of you who remember how much technology has evolved in the 2000s, you could basically do what you call share screen on a laptop, but you could do it for the TV. All the TVs were connected to a central network, and so you could show the entire school one channel or one recording, one VCR. We didn't even really have DVDs back in the day. Millennials that are younger and Gen Z don't even remember VCRs. To celebrate Toga Day, they showed the Disney cartoon Hercules, if you remember Hercules. Either the person running the technology didn't know how to do it, or the technology just wasn't able to do it. They weren't able to continue the movie. In every class that wasn't a history or social studies class, they would show the same beginning of the movie Hercules. And then, the bell would ring, you go to the next period, it would be the same part of the movie playing, and they weren't able to stop there and then keep showing the movie. And at that point, I had already watched Hercules, so I just took out a book and I just read, because they turn off the lights to show the movie. So I went to the window where there was light and I just read. By the time I got to senior year of high school, they didn't even want people to haze underclassmen anymore. So that was the first year in that high school's history where they engaged in what's called friendly hazing. We had, talking about togas, we had all these beads and all these kind of ribbons and all these like almost ancient Greek, ancient Rome like things. And then when we'd see an underclassman, we'd give it to them, like as a gift. The culture was at my school before my senior year. Whenever you see a freshman, and it was that first week, they call it Freshman Friday, you would go up to him and write an F on his forehead. And some people were really rough about it. Like, they push the freshman against the wall, or put him in a headlock or something. Society changed a lot, man. It went from middle school, everyone's making fun of all the kids for wearing togas. And then high school, they're drawing or painting or putting stickers of F's on Freshman Friday too. By the time I was a senior, they weren't allowed to do that anymore. I used to be in touch with some of my middle school teachers. I want to know, did this tradition go on? Because 6 or 7 years later, I was a senior, right? My high school started trying to get more kind towards underclassmen. Maybe the middle school realized, hey, this toga day isn't really working. It's causing mental distress for the underclassmen. So maybe they canceled it, or maybe it would be really funny if any kid that was caught making fun of an underclassman wearing a toga would get suspended or something. You don't know what the school system would do to combat this type of negative culture. If you guys are watching this, let me know what things you guys had to do in school and whether freaking public school or private school or whatever. I bet you my school system wasn't the only one with something so ridiculous as this Toga Day. And that actually reminds me, so when I went to elementary school in the Chicago area, when it was Chinese New Year, entire second grade actually went through the hallways and said, 恭喜发财, which means like everyone get rich, I hope. We're just walking through the entire halls, and some people are beating, what are those called? Those little, I don't know what those called, sort of like drum-like things. Forgot what they're called. And I just remember a collective drone, because most of the kids when I went to school in Chicago weren't Asian, right? So I just remember collective drone going gong hei fa tai for like 20 minutes, just walking through the entire school. I guess they're trying, right? They're really trying to get you to be immersed in that culture. It ultimately comes off as more cringe than anything, because I just remember getting made fun of during Toga Day by literally every upperclassman, even the upperclassmen that walked with their heads down, like the really shy ones, or the ones that, you know, had some social issues. Even that day, they gave themselves an excuse to look and laugh at us. I hope you guys enjoy this little reflection. I want to hear more from you guys. What crazy days did you guys have, whether high school, even college, post-college, workplace, younger years? Okay, guys. Also, I'll talk about this one day. This is quite a funny thing to talk about, too. See you guys.